Today I'm going to talk about experiencing the true self when life seems to go awry. And I'm going to be discussing this principle that is what enables us to fall more easily into surrender. When we're children, we're shown a live teddy bear and a real bear, or a live dog and a stuffed dog. And we start to be able to discern the difference between what's alive and what's not. Nobody really necessarily explains what alive is, but by repeatedly experiencing the two, we start to know what's alive. Well, the same thing is true with our thoughts. Our plans of how we should be, how other people should be, how life should turn out, are actually hollow, thin, substanceless, flimsy wisps. And what does happen, who we actually are, how other people actually show up, all of that is real, vibrant, substantial, palpable. And the more we start to feel the difference between the two, the more our comfort zone will feel unsatisfactory. And when our comfort zone no longer feels so satisfying, it's easier to surrender into the real, into truth. So let me give 2 examples. First, there's a company who owes me $2,000. I had the idea that when I submit an expense report, they would mail me back a check. Apparently that's not the case. Now, if I were stuck in my ideas about this, how come they haven't mailed me back the check? What's the matter with me that they don't consider me important enough? I'm sure they pay everybody else. Or what's the matter with them? Why am I working for this horrible company that doesn't mail their checks? If I got lost in that, I'd waste a lot of time and energy uselessly. And if I did finally address them, call them, or write them a letter, it would not be in a constructive manner. But instead, if I stay where life is real and vital, okay, there's been no checks. What's the next thing to do? Then I move into action with simplicity and ease. It's a completely different experience. And I haven't layered on these things that they haven't followed through. What does it mean? I'm not being treated right, or they aren't a good company. None of that arises, because all of that's in the world of my ideas. There's this simpleness of, oh, the checks have not been mailed. What is the next step to do? And it's a real place. Sure, maybe I wanted that money for something that I was going to take care of. And now I research other options. But again, I just stay curious. Oh, well, how will this turn out? What will it allow for me? So when we fall in love with that vitality, it keeps us engaged, knowing that even what is happening is better than anything I could imagine, because for one, it has that aliveness. Another example. So my friend got sick and he ended up dying. Now, when I first heard that he was sick, I grieved. But over and over through those last year or two and several months, I felt him alive with me. And we continued to deepen our friendship and engage about many different topics and really enjoy our time together. We didn't spend a lot of time wondering, well, how come the doctor didn't catch this diagnosis 2 years earlier when he was supposed to have? How come blah, 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 blah. We enjoyed continuing to share our time together. And it was a really rich time. And then on top of that, once he died, there were some things that I didn't realize I was doing to keep him comfortable. And once he was dead, I found some other things that I started opening up into in my life that, yeah, I would have taken those steps if he were still alive, but it might have gone more slowly. So it all worked out so perfectly. And as it turns out, I still feel his presence very much in my life. So somehow it has all turned out for the best. And had I spent a lot of time bemoaning that he was leaving me, or even bemoaning that he had died, I would have missed out on these opportunities of the new expansion that have shown up. What kept drawing me was the reality of each moment and what was there to be harvested in those moments. What was there to be harvested in him being there? What was there to be harvested in him not being there? Rather than keeping on holding on to my comfort zone of how I thought things should happen. Because in that comfort zone, there was a monotony. There was a stagnation. And the more that we can feel that difference, the more we surrender into the real and come in contact with the true self.